Time to talk about the most anticipated roller coaster of 2023. Nope, it's not ArieForce One, Pipeline, Wildcat's Revenge, or Big Bear Mountain. We're here to talk Wild Mouse at Cedar Point. Yes, I know a Wild Mouse roller coaster isn't glamorous or enough to wake up the thoozies in the morning, but some small and not so small modifications made to this latest spinning Wild Mouse concept is enough to warrant a discussion. The ride stats, which are about on point with the other Wild Mouse coasters, the ride stands 52 feet, has 1,312 feet of track, and reaches a max speed of 35 miles per hour. Presentation. Being a simple family roller coaster, Cedar Point did not take this attraction lying down. The station is pretty simple, but the theming really comes through with the individual car designs. Each train is themed to a different mouse, all have their own name displayed out in the front of the station. There of course is the bonus car that is themed to a piece of cheese. As for the ride experience, there is very little theming beyond the cat poster hanging over the top of the lift, with its claw extended out attempting to catch the mice as they pass through. Every time a train exits the station and travels up the lift, there is this tune that starts to play. The music is very cute, childlike, though when you watch the train dispatch like every 30 seconds, this music does get a little old. Overall, being Cedar Point, which is an amusement park, their theming is about on point with other attractions. The park could have done more, sure, but honestly, they did more than what I would expect, which is why a 7 score seems more than fair. Operations. Just like my previous family coaster review, I'll be eliminating the ride intensity category for this attraction. Operations, for the most part, were on point. As I was standing up in the balcony inside the pavilion, I watched many trains get dispatched. It was like clockwork. 30 seconds a train would be leaving the station and crawling up the lift. At that rate, Wild Mouse is capable of sending 120 trains an hour. Since each train has a max capacity of 4 riders, the total amount of guests this attraction can service within 1 hour is about 480 riders. Now, that is when this ride is operating as it should. Unfortunately, Wild Mouse has had a rocky start. I hear that this ride breaks down quite frequently, though this is usually expected with new attractions. I assume within a few months, or by the latest next year, Cedar Point and Zamperla, the ride manufacturer, will have all the bugs worked out of this attraction and it'll be functioning like a well-oiled machine. Even though the capacity isn't as large as I would prefer for a roller coaster at Cedar Point, they are doing their best to send those trains. The simple lap bar restraint makes it easy to load and unload the trains. No seatbelts, just a lap bar, which is all you need anyways on a Wild Mouse. Operations earn a solid 9 score. The only reason I hold it back a point is the rocky launch and periodic breakdowns. Fun factor. When you look at the ride stats, Wild Mouse seems to be on point with the other spinning Wild Mouse attractions by Zamperla. However, when you ride the attraction, you will notice that Wild Mouse at Cedar Point is considerably shorter ride time than the rest. The average ride time for their traditional model takes about 2 minutes, and that's from the station departure to the brake run. Wild Mouse at Cedar Point has a ride time of about 1 minute. Again, that includes the lift hill. The reason why is Wild Mouse at Cedar Point has faster pacing. Instead of throwing multiple hairpin turns, this roller coaster does a lot of twisted and banked turns similar to what you would find on a spinning coaster by Gerstlauer or Maurer. The other different feature is these trains start spinning immediately. Like once you leave the lift, the train starts spinning for the entire ride. I've watched some trains spin very little or moderately, while others will be spinning out of control for the whole ride. When comparing Wild Mouse to similar models, this is the best version I've been on, minus the good theming that you'll get on Exterminator over at Kennywood. This is a fun ride. The rewritability is very high because you don't know what to expect. During my one and only ride, we spent a good chunk of the attraction going backwards. It wasn't until we hit that helix did we start to spin more. Wild Mouse earns a perfect 10 rating for the fun factor. Originality. Normally, I would give this category a 1 if I was talking any other spinning Wild Mouse attraction, because, well, they're all the same. Well, Cedar Point didn't want more of the same. They changed up the layout, they unlocked the spinning aspect for the whole ride, and what you got is something that feels different and original. Now, I'm not going to throw an incredible high score for this category, but a score of 6 sounds pretty reasonable. This isn't your typical Wild Mouse coaster, very little hairpin turns. Like I said earlier, they took inspiration from Maurer and Gerstlauer. Ride smoothness. This roller coaster is butter smooth, perfect 10 rating for ride smoothness. Okay, the final technical score for this family coaster is going to be an 8.4, which is a good score, especially for a spinning Wild Mouse roller coaster. Cedar Point took a traditional style roller coaster and added a little bit more flavor to it. This isn't a groundbreaking attraction, but something sorely missing from Cedar Point's coaster lineup. This amusement park needs more family attractions, and this fit that bill. My personal score, I say this is a decent 7 rating. Wild Mouse is a fun ride, not an intense one at all, but easy for the whole family to enjoy. The ride has a minimum height requirement of 42 inches with an accompanied adult. This lower height mark is sorely needed at Cedar Point. All the current quote-unquote family roller coasters have a 48-inch height mark like Blue Streak, Iron Dragon, and Cedar Creek Mine Ride. As a family man, it's nice to know that Cedar Point has another family roller coaster that my whole family could enjoy together, which is a big deal. Now, to all my roller coaster enthusiasts out there, is Wild Mouse worth the trip to Cedar Point? I mean, there's many reasons to visit Cedar Point, like because it's your favorite park or houses your favorite roller coaster, but I don't think this roller coaster warrants a 15-hour car ride from across the country. Just hold out until 2024 when the real attraction opens. But yeah, Wild Mouse serves as a nice filler attraction and really completes the boardwalk section of the park. Well, that's gonna do it for my review. Let me know what you think of Wild Mouse down in the comments below. Till next time, this is X Screen Thrills.